Protestant. Oh, he's such a fucking wasp. It's terrible. You know those waspy people? They have a pole up their ass and they're so fucking proper. Oh, hello, how do you do? I'm from Brooklyn, baby. I tell it like it is or I don't say it at all. Right? You got it, sweetie pie.
Hi, Jessica. We've never met you.
Who's this broad with the brown hair? Who are you, Toots?
Jessica.
That's Terry Marie.
Hi, Ron.
Hi.
I'm Jessica.
You got a boyfriend?
I do.
Oh, too bad, because I have a new show. I'm fixing people up. I would have put you on the show to fix you up.
I mean, no, I don't have a boyfriend at all.
Oh, okay. You know,
That's the right answer.
But, you know, my collection of men, they're all good looking, well-built, successful, mostly in the business, so they have money. So they're really good catches. And these guys, I talk to them all the time, and they say, oh, I can't get a girlfriend. I said, look at you. You're gorgeous. You got a body of death. You're handsome as hell. You're sweet as could be. You're bright and intelligent. How come you can't get a girlfriend? They say, I don't know. I said, well, maybe stop looking in the mirror.
Thank you.
And try looking at the girl.
There, she liked that too. Jessica liked that.
Well,
I agree with you.
Most men that I know are narcissistic, and they really think they're gorgeous, and they think that, you know, Marilyn Monroe should come back from the grave and marry them. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
All right, Ron. So
yes,
we're going to start this. This is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, WomenOnTV.tv, iTube247 out of Tennessee, and the Women's Broadcasting TV channel. I'm really honored by this, but we have to introduce the men first because they're the special guests. Sorry, ladies, there's a special guest today. So we got none other than Jimmy Star from Jimmy Star's World. We got Ron Russell. And Ron, you're so good looking. You remind me of Tony Curtis. This is in a good way. I hope I'm not insulting you.
No. Tony and I were dear friends. I knew Tony for a long time. And I said to Tony, you know, people said years ago that we looked alike. He said, no, we don't. He said he was much better looking. So that was Tony. But yeah, I've been told all my life, I was told I look like Tony Curtis. And it was a great compliment because Tony Curtis was not only a wonderful person, a great funny guy, but a very handsome man, even as he got older, until he became ill. Then, of course, he crashed. But yeah, I have a Tony Curtis story maybe we'll tell later about Marilyn Monroe when they did Some Like It Hot.
I can't wait to hear that. So, from British Columbia, Sherry Nelson, the one and the only. We love.
Yay!
And then from Tennessee, we got Jessica Heim. We love her.
Hey, Jessica. Nice to meet you.
Co-host is Terry Marie out of Redondo Beach.
Hi, guys.
Hey, oh, I don't see her, right?
Where are you from, Wild David? What is your name? Wild Dad? I can't read your T-shirt.
No, Terry. There, Terry. Now we can see her.
No, his T-shirt. Wild Dad, David. What is your T-shirt say?
Wild Aid.
Oh, Wild Aid.
Wild Aid.
Oh,
Wild Aid.
Because it was kinked, and I thought it said Wild Dad. So it's okay. I'm a Wild Dad. Why not?
Jimmy, I got to ask you this. How did you and Ron meet? Because I just love the chemistry that you guys have.
So basically, like we were like, I was in the Boca Mall in Boca Raton, Florida, and he was walking by, and he was gorgeous, and he was wearing white pants and a white shirt and white flip-flops, and I walked up to him and said, "Oh my God, you're the most gorgeous guy in this entire mall." And he looked at me and he said, he asked me to tell the story.
Yeah, well, I did the punchline always.
Okay, go ahead.
And I said, get the fuck out of here. And I kept walking more on.
And I followed him around the mall for a while.
Stupid.
And I followed him around for the mall for a while, and he was like on his phone calling somebody. I was pretending like I was on the phone, but he basically totally blew me off.
Well, because he looked like a rock star, and I don't do rock stars. You know, I'm a sophisticated dude, I think. But like, I like men in suits, you know, Ralph Lauren guys. And here he had on like shoes that with bells on them and ripped dungarees with underwear showing, and all kinds of weird earrings and crazy hair. He looked like a lunatic. I thought he was an escapee from like one of the camps, you know, the homeless camps.
So then I saw him like 2 weeks later in the mall. He was walking around with somebody he dated, and I went up to him again and started talking to him. And it ended up that he was looking. Ended up that I had a radio show and he had a TV show, and we started talking. And his daughter and he were putting on a big Halloween party for one of the owners of Costco in Florida,
the CEO
and asked me if I
Costco.
wanted to be in it and be an undertaker in it. And I said, you know, sure. So we went to his house for dinner where everybody who was involved was there.
Let me say, I always do a spaghetti and meatball party before we do anything because that's the poor man's meal. And in New York, 100 years ago, like with Marlon Brando, people like that who lived in the village that were poor, what you did was you had spaghetti and meatballs, and everybody came by the thousands into your apartment, smoking cigarettes and drinking and sitting on the fire escape and playing the piano and singing. Those days were the greatest. So I kept that tradition, and I still do it. Whenever we do a big show, I always do a spaghetti and meatball party.
So we had all these people out for spaghetti and meatball dinner, and then after dinner, we all went into the living room, and I jumped on the couch next to him to sit next to him so the guy he was dating couldn't sit next to him.
Poor Burton Gazar. Burton Gazar is a wonderful actor who's doing really well in Florida.
So then when we were all sitting there, I put my hand behind his neck and started rubbing his neck, and you could see the guy getting upset. And then I used to be a celebrity clothing designer, and I told him I wanted to look at his closet. So then we went to his closet, and while we were looking at his closet, I tried to kiss him, and he was like, "What are you doing? You're
I
crazy."
had a very, very big walk-in closet.
Yeah, a huge closet.
Because of my show, Set the Record Straight, every week I needed a different jacket, shirt, and tie, clothing. So, of course, I built quite a wardrobe.
And so then he didn't like
through
it.
my clothes, and then suddenly grabs me, tries to kiss me. I want to punch him right in the face. I don't like that stuff.
Then we went and did the Halloween party. It was a huge success.
And let me tell the rest.
Okay, you tell it.
Now, this freaky-looking weirdo, crackpot, nut job guy who I wasn't the least bit interested in, I didn't even find him attractive at all. I walked into the room that we used as the funeral parlor where the coffin was, where the ghost, the dead body became a ghost and it rose to the ceiling. It was a wonderful effect. And there I see this very handsome man in a blue serge suit with a white shirt and a blue tie and black shoes, a short haircut, no earrings, everything. And I looked and I thought, oh my God, that's
it was a Ralph Lauren suit too, by the way.
He looked very, he looked very, very gay dashing. Anyway, so I said to myself, maybe I'll give this chick a little turn. You never know. And we started dating. And 3 months later, he said to me, stupid shit. And I said to him, listen, Jimmy, I'm not a backstreet guy. I don't fool around. I'm not a trick. If you're going to keep seeing me, there's marriage at the end of this rainbow, or beat it. I'm not interested. And he said, no, I'm interested. And then after a year, we got married.
How long has it been?
Now, 9 years we're married.
Congratulations.
Thank
Wow,
you.
Congratulations.
And Jimmy's been pregnant 3 times, had abortions, but that's what we do in the business.
Well, here's an interesting question for you guys. Because there's been a lot of my friends, gay, straight, whatever, they're getting divorced. How are you guys being able to stay together? Because it's not easy.
I've been married all my life. I got married at 19, not married, but I hooked up with my lover, Sal George, at 19, and we were together for 46 years. And then he died of pancreatic cancer. And then 2-3 years later, I met Jimmy. So I've been married all of my life. I was raised to be married. I come from an Italian family who's very family. I believe in the family. And my 2 daughters believe in the family because they live 10 minutes from me.
He's from a different generation. Sherry, don't say anything. You guys, how old do you think he is? Guess.
Watch. They're going to be so nice.
I can't guess anybody's age anymore.
Yes, you can. Just give it a guess. Okay, 50, 60, whatever you think. Like, take a look. Come on, go closer to the camera.
I lived a hard life.
Sherry Sherry knows. Brian might know the answer too.
I'm ageless.
Anyway, he just turned 80.
Yeah.
Really?
So he's
Jimmy?
from a different. Yes.
Jimmy, actually, Jessica and I have a surprise for Ron.
Okay.
So, Jessica, you just take it away. It was a funny little story that she told me. So, Ron, meet Jessica, and here's a gift.
Hey, Jessica.
Hey, Ron. So, a little birdie, Sherry, did tell me that you had a birthday about a month ago, right? It was the end of May.
May 28th, yep.
Yeah. And so I knew that you had turned the 80, which you do not look like
Thank
that
you. 80,
at all.
80. I don't feel it either.
That's as you should not. That's how we continue to be ageless.
That's right.
So she was wondering what we could do to kind of give you a little surprise. And Johnny Mathis came up. And she said that you really enjoy him and you like his music. And I told her that I actually grew up listening to Johnny Mathis because my parents played his albums and whatnot. So as a little belated birthday gift, I was going to sing a little bit of Chances Are for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be terrific. You know, I know Johnny. I went food shopping with Johnny one day
Oh yeah.
in West Hollywood. I'll tell you that story one time.
Yes.
And
Yes. Please
Johnny
do.
Mathis is one of the kindest, sweetest, most gentle people in the world. I love, 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 and adore him. And I've met him about 3 or 4 times. I'm trying to reach him. I know he won't do our show, especially my show, because he's afraid of me and the things that I say and do. But I would never spoil anyone's reputation. I know what Johnny's all about, and so does the world. But we don't talk about it because Johnny doesn't want it spoken of. So therefore, I would never
So let her go.
go. Chances are.
No, let her do
I'm
it.
Wait,
giving
I
you the-
had to
no.
let me make sure I got my lyrics, and I had to put my earphone in to make sure I got my note.
This is exciting. So we'll do a little drum roll. This is
Ready?
Jessica.
Here we go. Chances are, 'cause I wear a silly grin the moment you come into view. Chances are you think that I'm in love with you. Just
Ooh.
because my composure sort of slips the moment that your lips meet mine. Chances are you think my heart's your Valentine.
Very
Yay,
good. Good. Very good. Now I'll tell you my quick little story.
Yes,
Johnny Mathis, when I was 17 years old, I was at a girlfriend's house, a bunch of guys and girls, and we used to make out in those days, like practicing. Did you ever do that? You practice making out, kissing? We were kids. No, we were kids. And Johnny Mathis came on television for the first time. I was 16, Johnny was about maybe 20, 18 or 19. And he was singing Chances Are, and I fell madly in love with him. I continued that love affair with him all my life. My ex-lovers, my deceased lover, Sal D. George, adored him. And Sal fancied the thought that he could sing like Johnny Mathis. So now we're out and we run into Johnny Mathis, and I'm introducing Sal to Johnny. And I said, you know, he loves you and he thinks he can sing like you. And Johnny said, oh, really? And I said, yeah. I said, go ahead, Sal, let's hear it. And Sal went, with the faces and everything. Johnny started to laugh. He was so mad at him because he stinks. And we all know he stinks and he doesn't sound anything like you, but isn't it adorable? And Johnny thought it was so adorable. Now Sal passes away years later from pancreatic cancer, and we're up in Thousand Oaks at the golf course, and Johnny's there, and I had a picture of Sal, and I gave it to my daughter Deirdre, and she passed it on to Johnny, and he signed it, but we never told him that Sal had passed away. I didn't want that because it would have bothered Johnny. He has a very, very sensitive side to people that are fans of his that die. Those of you who don't know him, I'm sorry for you, because you will have met probably one of the best human beings that God has ever made. And I believe that with my heart.
And did you know that he's one of the biggest selling artists in the history of music? Him and Frank Sinatra, the two highest selling albums.
He beat Frank Sinatra. Johnny Mathis, in my book, is the #1 singer of all singers in the entire world. And the female,
Brian knew that.
And the female for that is Peggy Lee, who I adore.
They don't know
Yes.
Wait. Brian don't know Peggy Lee though. But I bet Jessica and Terry don't know who Peggy Lee
I
is.
do.
I
Oh.
totally know who Peggy Lee is.
I totally do.
And that
Peggy-
story is even better. My friend Beryl Davis, who was married to the CEO of Capitol Records, and I were driving on the highway or whatever road, and she looks at me. She said, you know, that's Peggy Lee's house up there. I said, oh, how do you know? She said, oh, Peggy Lee's a dear friend of mine. I said, Beryl, and you never introduced me? Because Peggy had passed away. She said, I never thought you wanted to meet her. I said, Beryl, I want to punch you in the face, but I can't. I said, Peggy Lee, I love and adore her. And you know what she said to me? Oh, and Ron, if she met you, she would have loved you. I said, stop the car. I'm getting out. I wanted to kill her. Could you imagine me meeting Peggy Lee and then being a friend of hers and hanging out with her? I mean, forget it. Anyway, those are my 2 favorites.
You know, Jimmy, Ron reminds me, have you guys seen the 2 things? Have you seen Circus of Books yet? And then have you seen Hollywood on Netflix yet?
We saw Hollywood. I liked it. Ron hated it because he doesn't like the imaginary, all the different imaginary
was
things.
there.
Because he was part of that.
I was there. I know the truth. That movie was not the truth.
Yeah, so he didn't like it. I loved it. I thought it was great. And no, we haven't seen
Rock
Circus.
Hudson was never out. Rock Hudson never had a black lover. Rock Hudson never went to the Academy Awards with his lover and told the world he was gay. Rock Hudson hid that. Like, I knew Rock, and he hid that secret like nobody's business.
Right.
I was on a shoot with him at Universal for McMillan and Wife, and they stopped the shot because Rock said to the script girl, "Could we change this line? It's a bit effeminate." That's how careful he was of how he spoke and lines. He was always like the man, and he never would have come out of the closet, and he never did come out of the closet. When he went to Paris for a cure for AIDS, the press got it, and the press has no heart. And of course, they came out with Rock Hudson, homosexual, gets AIDS. And I just thought, media, why don't you all drop dead?
The media hasn't changed, has it?
No, it's
No, it
getting
hasn't.
worse and worse. And now it's even bigger because
And-
we have social media to
Exactly.
make everything get even bigger and bigger.
And knowing Rock Hudson,
Mhm.
the little I know of him being in his company, he was a very sensitive guy. He wouldn't say an unkind word to anyone to offend them. He went out of his way to be polite and gracious. First time I met him was I think it was at a party or on the set, I'm not sure. But I stood about two inches from his face because I wanted to molest him, but of course I couldn't. And he was speaking, and the vibration from that baritone voice was shaking me. The most gorgeous 6'5" man I have ever seen in my life. Magnificent eyes, beautiful lips, teeth, and nose. Beautiful, beautiful man. Beautiful. So all of you out there, there's no.
Well, the reason why I wanted to ask that about Hollywood, because on in a good way, and I don't know you well, but I know a little bit of your history. You remind me of the gas station attendant, just being around in that area and almost having a connection to all those people, if that makes sense.
Well, actually, I was too young. That was before my time. I was born in 1940. That stuff happened in 1950, 51. I was 12 or 13 years old. I learned about that stuff years later because that backroom trailer had been in Hollywood for quite a while. Then they closed it down. Then somebody said that it opened again. But I was amazed that Walter Pidgeon went there. Whoever thought Walter Pidgeon was gay? And a bunch of other Hollywood stars that I knew, who I thought were, married men with women and straight. So it was quite a shock to find out that trailer was there. But the movie was not correct. The movie portrayed Hollywood is not quite what it was. When I was in my early teens, I went to many parties in New York, and I was around celebrity all the time, and they were just like you and I. Nobody was outrageous. They were quite boring, as a fact. I mean, Martha Ray was my good friend, married to the prize fighter. What the hell was his name? Rocky Graziano. And they were my good friends, and they were just lovely people. I'd go to their house in Jackson Heights, Queens, and Rocky would whip up pastas. So, Hollywood was not decadent like they said. I mean, I knew Rita Hayworth. She got married 100 times. She was a drunk. She had Alzheimer's, but she was a sweet lady. I mean, I can go on and on and on about. No, but they talk. Well, you can't ask me a question. You're being for a big loaded question. Jane Russell, the movie legend, was my dearest friend, like my sister. We hung out together. We were friends for years, and she was the most normal lady in the world, not that sexy, glamorous broad she was on screen. So I thought Hollywood was doing Hollywood and making the young people think that it was a big, scene. And the stuff about all the black people, that wasn't true because they were so loved and respected. We didn't have prejudice in Hollywood. That's bullshit. I mean, we all worked with black actors. We had black actors for friends. Hattie McDowell was the first black woman to win an Oscar, which was marvelous. Everybody was thrilled. Sammy Davis Jr., my God, who's a nicer fella than Sammy Davis Jr.? You wouldn't have met a better buddy, a real guy. So that bullshit.
I met him when I was little.
So that bullshit isn't. Hollywood, probably, the people in Hollywood probably are the most open-minded people in the world. gay people are so loved and accepted. Women that are loose and fuck everybody, they're accepted. Nobody really judges in Hollywood. It's the people outside that do, mostly the media. Like Robert Mitchum smoked pot, was all over the place, and he went to jail. I mean, that kind of nonsense. But they were just people who worked in a dirty factory that was ice cold all the time. Period.
Ron,
Yes.
yesterday on your show, can I repeat what you said? You said something pretty amazing that, I think everyone should hear and it should resonate. Ron Russell, you said, I vowed as a young man I would be somebody one day and I would have a voice the world would hear, which of course you do with your spectacular show with Jimmy. And you said, for the little time we have on this planet, make it joyous, make it beautiful, make it wonderful. Let it be a picnic on grassy fields under apple trees among music and people and children laughing and people loving. That is my vision of what the world should be. And when you talk about old Hollywood and, what Terry and Jessica and Brian and I see, it's sad, that, the media likes to show the negative of anything. And your words are just so wonderful, and they just should be kind of the mantra of everybody, especially the media in their industries. Show more good.
Yeah.
Show more people doing good. It's healthier for your audience. And your words were just, I kept hearing them yesterday, so thank you for that.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I mean them. Sometimes I get flowery in my speech. But Tab Hunter, who was my good friend, who came out as being gay, because I asked Tab in private, of course. I said to Tab, why did you come out after so many years? He said, Ron, everybody knew. I said, yeah, we all knew, but nobody talked about it. I said, I knew that you were hooked up with Tony Perkins for a couple of years. Everybody knew that when you went out with Sandra Dee, it was bullshit. It was all a beard. I said, but that's part of the game, because back then a homosexual would lose. Rock Hudson, if they knew he was gay in the 50s, they would never have put him in a movie, because women would go to the movie and say, oh, he's a fag, I can't have him. And women go to drool and faint and get wet and get happy. So you got to have a gorgeous guy that supposedly is straight. Tab Hunter hit it all his life. And he was glad. I said to him, are you happy you're out? He said, Ron, you have no idea how happy I am. It's like I was carrying what did he say? A sack of bricks throughout my life, and now I don't have them. And I understood. Tab Hunter was the most normal, average guy. He was another sweetie pie. I loved him a lot. Jimmy and I saw him 2 weeks before he passed away. And he was as healthy as a horse, and that blood clot.
Jimmy and Ron, I have to go into that. That was one of the best documentaries I've ever seen on Tab Hunter, and people should go and see that because it's kind of told in his own words. It was really good.
Yeah, Tab Hunter Confidential. It's a really good.
I spoke to Tab about that, and Tab said to me, I wanted full control of it. He said, I didn't want it sensationalized. I didn't want it in any other way than what it was. He said, I wanted it totally honest. And I said, wow, but the thing about you as a kid in the movie theater with that gay guy, that's a bit shocking. He said, Ron, it was. And that's what I want. And I said, good for you, Tab, because people
But see, he did it himself, though. That's different.
Well, actually his lover did it. Glacier. I mean, he ran Tab's life. Tab got up and not Michael. What's Glacier's name? Oh my God, I forgot his name. Michael. No, that's the actor, Michael Glacier.
I love him.
What's his name? Glacier.
So hang on. No, you're thinking of Paul. I was thinking of Paul Michael Glacier. But hold on, I want to go back because I want to bring it in because there's 6 of us on this call, and we're all in the media. I actually got approached earlier today to do a celebrity show. They wanted me to do gossipy, terrible things that I would never do. Our show, just like your show, Brian, it's a show we bring on people that we really enjoy. We love the work that they do. And it's not to bring them out and then say, oh, you got arrested and you got all these terrible things. It's to bring out all the great things that they did. And I think that, and look at the ratings. I mean, you have great ratings. We have great ratings. Tons of people watch what we do. And I think that's the way it should be. But unfortunately, so many people in the media think that the only way they get ratings is to do shock value and to do things where you bring out all the negative stuff. And Ron and I are super positive like you guys. So I think it's very important for people to bring out the positive aspects of the people that we admire and that we want to work with and that we look up to and things like that.
Okay.
And it makes the world a better place, like all the stuff that Ron said earlier yesterday on our
But
show.
wait, I have to correct you because when I did Chance's, what's Chance's last name?
Chance TV.
Chance, yeah. When I did Chance TV show, YouTube, who took it off? Facebook took it off because I spoke about gay Hollywood of the 1940s and 50s. And I spoke about Barbara Stanwyck being a drag butch dyke. I spoke about all the gay guys and all the gay women, but I didn't speak about it as to be demeaning.
Mhm.
I wanted the audiences to know the people that you paid money to see on the silver screen that you adored, you copied their hair, their clothes, everything, were gay people. I want the world to know that gay people come in many flavors and many colors and many personalities. And I expose them because they're dead. And of course, they couldn't care less. If they did see it, they'd say, oh, good, I was remembered. But Hollywood is filled with gay people.
Mhm.
I mean, not just the hairdressers and makeup men and set designers and clothing designers, but the actors, the boom men, the cameramen. It attracts gay people because it's the only place we never got fired from for being gay. So that Chance show is the only show I ever exposed gay Hollywood.
Okay, and it only got taken off Facebook because Facebook takes down everything right now.
Well,
But
they
it's on
here's-
YouTube.
Here's the thing
This
on
is
this.
horrible.
They're not going to take it off of our show. I guarantee you that because I know how to tell it correctly. But also,
There you go.
there's two names that I can think of. And Ron and Jimmy, tell me what you think. Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier.
Harry Belafonte, Sherry's our best friend. We love and that's Harry's daughter. We love and adore her. We spent a weekend with her in Las Vegas, peeing in our pants from her. She is the most outrageously wild, funny broad I've ever met. I mean, she cooked for us, and we ate and we drank, got loaded, went in the pool, got crazy. I love Sherry Belafonte.
What about Harry, though? He asked you about Harry.
Yeah, well, that's Harry's her dad. The only thing I know about Harry was he's quite old and he's still healthy. And she flew to New York immediately after that Vegas party to see him because he wasn't feeling well. Harry Belafonte was one of the first actors that came out of the woodwork or the closet or where we want to call it, where the white people put him in. Hollywood made Lena Horne have a nose job because her nose was a little too broad, a little too African maybe. That was the assholes of Hollywood. Back in Hollywood, Lena Horne could never, if you notice when you see Lena Horne perform, she never looks into the camera. Reason being, those movies went to white audiences in the South.
Uh-huh.
And it would be offensive to a white man to have her singing a love song to his eyes. And the woman next to him would get up and walk out like, how dare that black woman sing to you, my hubby. So that was the sort of ignoramuses that wore back in those days. Not in Hollywood. This is the people that watch Hollywood. So Lena Horne always called herself the white, I forgot the nickname she had, but something about a white, it was a funny name. She resented it. In her later years, she said black is beautiful. She wore an afro and she came out as an African American, and everybody adored her for her balls and guts. Harry Belafonte was the first gorgeous black man. I mean, he's stunningly handsome, as you will agree.
Yes.
To smack a white police officer in a movie.
In the heat of the night.
There you go. You know your shit.
That was very shocking because the Southern audiences got up and walked out.
Yep.
How dare a black man strike a white man? Yet a white man could smack a black man because that's what he did first. He hit Harry first, and then
And Ron, you'll know this. The black audience stood up and clapped.
Yes.
Absolutely, because that was equality. Okay, that was the first move towards equality. Hollywood has done so much for the black people, gay people, Jewish people. I mean, they have movies that are hysterically funny with all Jewish, dialogue and storylines and gay lines. So Hollywood, in a way, really has bridged the gap between the stupid people that are prejudiced and trying to make them a little smarter. I don't know what to do with these people. They're a bunch of jerks. I mean, I don't even give a shit about them, tell you the truth.
But
Terry,
that's
I
the
love the
thing.
way you look. You're gorgeous.
What?
I like Terry.
Yeah, I love her
I never
hair.
met you, but you're gorgeous.
What? Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah, you're beautiful.
Oh, hi. Well, I kind of joined a little bit late because I had some other
Terry,
call I had to jump on.
you know, to give a background on Terry to you guys, she has 2,640,233 views just out of Tennessee, out of 3 shows. That's just Tennessee. I haven't figured out the YouTube numbers yet. I'm starting to add those together. But here's the thing that I like about Terry. She bothers the hell out of me, but she's very loyal.
Well, what is it you do, Terry?
I'm too vocal for Brian sometimes. I'm very opinionated and I can't keep my mouth shut. When I feel strongly or passionate about something, I will just go on.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm
That's
very
like him.
passionate about it.
She's
Yeah.
like, she's like Ron, matter of fact, Ron, she's
Yeah.
like you.
I don't do politics anymore because I got yelled at.
Yeah.
I have a good friend, Stephen Bluestein, who's a stand-up comic, very
Hi,
famous,
Sherry.
and he's a writer, and he writes books, and he bombs Trump all the time. He says the most hideous things about Trump. And I said to Stephen, you're an idiot. Don't you realize Republicans buy books too?
That's okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, so everybody knows I'm a Republican, and I am very vocal about my views. And this is why I get so mad at the media, because the media spins things on both sides. They spin on the right and the left, but because the media is so left-leaning, it's just very hard to have an opinion because no one can have a conversation anymore because of Facebook and because of the media. And it drives me crazy. So I'm the kind of person, I like to listen to both sides, but I just get really, really frustrated sometimes because I feel like I can't get my voice out there because people just want to shut me up before they'll even listen to me.
Facebook shuts you up fast.
Yes.
Wait, go ahead, Brian.
You will like this. This is why I tell Terry, in Tennessee, Georgia, Indianapolis, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, you can go nuts. In California, tamper down just a little bit. But
Well, I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of silent Republicans in California. I hang out with a lot of them. Okay. So, but I also have friends that are Democrats too. I have friends. I just want to have conversations with people that are intelligent, that are talking about facts, research facts, and don't just spit out whatever Fox or CNN says.
I agree.
Yeah, but you have got to watch your ass. I have a very dear friend of mine. She's a black girl. Her name is Cece Sykes. You have got to watch her. She's the funniest broad in the world. She's married to a white guy. She's absolutely one of my sweetest, loving friends. I adore her. She has a shop on Melrose. It was looted, burned. She was there screaming, "I'm a black person. I own the store. Why are you doing this?" 2 gorgeous black men, big, burly guys, stood on her side, protecting her, which I was thrilled about because they could have killed her with a Molotov cocktail. I was livid. I went on Facebook and I wrote, they should mow them down like rats, the people who do this kind of destructive stuff. Not the marchers. I wasn't talking about the protesters.
Yeah.
I was talking about the phony balonies, the looters, the jerk-offs that go there, use the black beautiful thing as a front, and they're robbing.
No,
that's what I meant.
It breaks my heart because they hijacked the movement.
Wait a minute. I must have got, I don't know how many people that said, I'm unfriending you, I'm unfriending you, I'm unfriending you.
Yeah, like hundreds of people like that.
And you know what I did? I said, I don't really give a fuck. And I went on their pages. Not one of them were my friends. How did they find me? Because I'm open to them. And I meant nothing anti-black about it. My God, no. Cece came to my defense. Now, I had so many of my friends come to my defense. Cece Peniston, finally, my dearest friend in the world. Wendy Moten, fabulous singer. Lily Nicole McLeod, fabulous singer. Sherry Belafonte, fabulous actress. I mean, I've got more black friends than black friends have black friends.
Well, what drives me crazy too.
All right, so Terry, we got about 60 seconds. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's just too bad that the media is so negative on everything. They should be more positive on things. And one thing is that I do have a lot of black friends that are Republican. So it drives me crazy because I talk to them all the time. I mean, I have friends that are Hispanic and that are Republicans. So I just wish the media would give everybody a voice and stop all the negative energy.
There you
I
go.
agree. When people
And with that,
Mhm.
Jimmy and Ron, give your social media links, please.
You can follow us. I'm at Dr. Jimmy Star, Facebook and Instagram. He's Ron Russell Show on Facebook. Twitter, I'm at Dr. Jimmy Star.
or set the record straight
And-
if you want to see old interviews with
And you can go to
legends.
JimmyStarsWorld.com, has everything.
And Terry.
My official website is Terry Murray Official, and then Terry Murray Nonstop on all platforms.
And Jessica.
First and last name, Jessica Heim on Facebook, and my handle for Instagram is Jessica Heim7.
And Sherry.
Sherry Nelson, Facebook, XOXO, Sherry XO on Twitter and Instagram.
And with that, I'm going to end this part one because they've, Jimmy and Ron have got so much stuff to talk about, but we're going to get into part two, talking about what advice that Jimmy and Ron will give to people coming to Hollywood. How are people dealing with entertainment things right now? And then people like Terry and Sherry coming in from Canada. Terry, with her views like that, what's the correct way to go? Because I would love to know their views. So that'll be two coming up. Stay with us. And if you see someone without a smile, please log on to Jimmy Star and Ron Russell. Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More. We'll be right back.